Ya, ahora sí está grabando. Yeah, what's your name and where are you from?
Hi, my name is Paola Vallejo and I'm from Mexico.
What is the name of the company you work for and where is it located?
I'm working for Red Bull Chile right now. It's located in Santiago, but I'm gonna talk to you about my previous experience before coming to Chile, which was Colombia, where I lived for 3.5 years.
Yeah, what are the core activities from this company?
Red Bull, it's a beverage company. You all know it. We sell energy drinks. And I work for the marketing team especially, so we're in charge of doing all the marketing for the can.
And what is your special function within this company?
I'm communications manager right now for Red Bull. Communications basically focus on producing content around our activities, around our events, and around our athletes and opinion leaders. It's usually confused with some like investment in media, but no, we focus on telling stories, relevant stories around everything we do.
And how long have you been working on the company?
I've been working for 13 years. Yes, 13. I started working in Mexico for almost 8 years, then I moved to Colombia for the 3.5 years, and then I've been in Chile for the last 2 years.
And what was your previous experience before accepting the job in Colombia?
Before accepting the job in Colombia, I was in charge of the field marketing team in Mexico, which was basically executing all the marketing activations and initiatives that we had in the country towards our consumers.
Okay, and in Colombia, did you work in comms also?
Yeah, in Colombia I was working for the communications team. This was a regional office and I was in charge of Central America and Caribbean and some of Andean countries, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador and Bolivia.
And what are like the main cultural difference in doing business compared to your home country?
I think first of all, Colombians are hard workers. I'm not saying all Mexicans are not, but Mexicans usually are more lazy. In Mexico, we used to start the day a little bit later, a lot of politics, talking to people. And in Colombia, I got the feeling that it was more straight to the point. The meetings were more efficient. They work hard and they start the day very early. That was like the main difference that I saw when I got to Colombia.
Did you have some challenges doing that?
Yeah, of course. I had to adapt because I usually had breakfast at 11 a.m. and not at 6 a.m. So yeah, that affected also, I mean, not affected, but I had to change that habit so I can adapt to the working culture. But it was good.
And the people there, they were like really the same with Mexico, or
what do you mean?
Like the attitude, or
the people in Colombia?
Yes.
The same, like what?
Yeah, okay. What were the main personal challenges you experienced at work there?
I mean, first of all, adapting to a new country has a strong difficulty. Then you have to adapt to the working culture, which also, I mean, everything is happening at the same time. You need to find a house, you need to find a place to stay, like a lot of things, get to know the area, and then you have to adapt to the office, the way that they have to, like, the way that they work, the way that they communicate. For me, that was the biggest challenge, like trying to adapt to the working culture at the same time that I was adapting to a new way of living.
And what would you do differently, like looking back to your previous years in Colombia? Like, would you work there?
No, I wouldn't do anything differently. It was a really great experience.
And do you know like other business there that are lucrative, or how la competencia did work there?
In Colombia, how they worked?
Mm-hmm.
You mean another business like ours?
Sí, like
yeah. There was a huge competitive competition, another beverage called Vive 100 that actually started in Colombia as I was getting into Colombia. So Red Bull Colombia had this huge growing plan And then this new beverage came and they completely destroyed the market, destroyed the category. And that was also a huge challenge because we had to adapt to having a strong competitor for the first time. Colombia, or Red Bull in Colombia, was always at the top, and then this company just started selling beverages like a very cheap price. We had to adapt our strategy, change the way that we were communicating. There were other brands, for example, this brand was investing a lot of money in media, and we don't invest money in media, we create editorial content. And this was a bit of a challenge because, of course, another company was putting money, and we didn't have money to put. So, yeah, that was probably one of the toughest, like, business-wise.
If you could describe, like, what is doing business in Colombia, like, in general. I mean, at least in your como area.
How is doing business
Try to put it like
Colombia?
in words.
I would say that you don't have to believe everything they say. I noticed that Colombians talk a lot, I don't know how to say it, like they make it beautiful, they make it sound beautiful, and sometimes they're selling more than what they can offer. So you have to be careful on the way that you negotiate because it needs to be like very clear. They go and make it bigger and then you realize that it's not. Let's say.
So, what things I have to be like really careful if I want to do business in Colombia or
You
start
want
working?
to do business?
Like, but you can talk about law, you can talk about society,
Yeah.
politics, you can do whatever.
I don't like saying this about Colombia, but Colombia comes from a very like hard time, and they struggle a lot. So there's a lot of people that wants to take advantage of you. That's it. And political wise,
The laws and restrictions.
there's a lot of restrictions. I'm not really like into how the business is, but I've read news and I've heard that it's the rich people that can do business. It's not like you can go and open something. There are areas in Colombia where you just can't have a business because you have to pay like a fee to the guerrilla. So yeah, I think if you want to do some business in Colombia, you need to be very aware of the law, the restrictions, and how you do politics with relevant and important people, I think.
Yeah. And the culture, like the dress codes and things, they're the same? Or
No.
No? They're not the same?
I mean, they are kind of the same, but
They dress better.
they dress a little bit better. No, Colombians, depending on the region, but women in Colombia especially, they have amazing bodies, so they dress to show them. And this is very typical. Like the dress code to the office even is like, okay. I wouldn't wear that to come to the office in Chile, but yes. What else? Like
No, that's. I
everything
think
else is the same.
we're